Hey everybody, join me for a story time based on some actual events. This might take a couple minutes, but I hope it's worth your time. So let's imagine that you're in a home and your family has owned this home for over 40 years. Clear title, clear deed, distinct property lines. Previous owner happens to live now next door to you. And he's the worst of all the male Karens you can think of. And he builds a fence, takes part of your property, and the jurisdictions. Nobody's going to really do anything about this person because the neighborhood knows he's psycho, right? And how do they know he's psycho? Well, whenever there's a disagreement over at his house, he throws family members out of the top window, and people can see it, and nobody's doing anything about it. So everybody knows this guy's pretty dangerous. This guy puts up cameras along that fence and starts watching you, starts watching your family. You start feeling very uncomfortable. And then it progresses where this guy comes and bangs on your door and demands that you give the property back. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? And you'd be really upset if this was your home. And then he says, well, you know what? Let's make a deal. How about I just come in, I live on the bottom floor, and you live on the top floor, and everything will be fine. But what you know what's going to happen is if this person comes in and he starts to occupy, he's not only going to take just the first floor, he's going to take the whole house. And then he's going to do things to your kids. And then he's going to do things to you. And he's going to make you watch. And then when your usefulness is over, guess what? You're going out the top window. You would do everything in your power to keep that from happening. But then the banging gets stronger. The demands become, more vocal. He's out there in the streets talking about this, bragging how he's going to come and take your home and property away from you. So now your neighbors are concerned. And you reach out to your neighbors and you say, guys, I really need some help here. I need help defending. And everyone's like, well, we need to be ready to defend ourselves against this psycho. And so, we're not going to send anybody over into your house, but we've got some extra gear here that you can use to help defend if you need it. Okay, great. That's wonderful. Meanwhile, across the street, there's a guy in a house, right? And this house is owned by a family trust, and a family member can live there for a 4-year period. Well, let's call this person, I don't know, Don. Okay. So Don's living over in this house now, and it happens to be big. It happens to be white. Okay. And he asked Don, he said, hey, Don, I know you got a lot of stuff. You could see this guy's unhinged. Can you send us anything? And Don says, well, you know what? I'm having a conflict, right? My cousin Joe here is vying for the next 4-year lease. But I don't want the trust to allow him to take the lease. So I'll tell you what, if you go and find out some dirt on my cousin Joe, yeah, then I can help you. And you're like, dude, I got my own things to worry about. I need some help rather than you finding out dirt about your brother or your cousin Joe. While all this time, there's a chemical bromance going on between Don and your psycho neighbor. For years now, they've had this bromance going on. And when did it start? Nobody's really sure. Maybe it was Grindr. I don't know. But they're getting they're getting connected, and they're fairly close. And so you're not going to get any help. And then Don eventually loses his lease. Cousin Joe comes in. You reach out to Cousin Joe, and Cousin Joe says, yeah, I think we can help you. But by that time, Psycho Man has all this stuff ready to go, and he's already, he's on your front doorstep, and then he bangs down your door, and he's entered, and you're fighting for your life, trying to keep him from getting past that entryway. And maybe maybe he gets into the living room a little bit, and you're able to push him back. And the neighbors are like, man, we're kind of freaked out right now. What's going on right now? So we're going to keep helping you. Cousin Joe keeps helping, but no boots on the ground. And then cousin Don comes back. And then cousin Don has the temerity to say, I'm not going to, I know cousin Joe is helping you. I'm not going to help you anymore. You're on your own. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because it's your fault. It's your fault for not capitulating to Psycho Man over here, to allow him to come in, do whatever he wants to your daughters, do whatever he wants to your house. And it's your fault that this is happening. Not Psycho Man's fault, but it's your fault. Not only does he have the temerity to tell you, hey, it's your fault, he takes Psycho Man, they go down to the corner gas station, I don't know, maybe get a Subway down at the corner gas station, and decide how to carve up your property and your house with the gas station owner, and they don't even invite you to come. And they expect you to do what they're going to tell you to do. It's absolutely insane. That's the type of leader we have. That's the type of person. And I'm sorry, World Talk, that's who we have. And I understand why the whole neighborhood is over there trying to talk about what to do about the guy across the street. I totally get it. If you're not going to help your neighbor, and if you're going to encourage the bad behavior from a psychopath, then, the world is in a lot of hurt.